Thank you, Phil. We basically listened to each other's collection of stories. We didn't systematically go through the questions, but obviously they were all influenced by various thought-provoking things that we'd heard or thought about during the morning. So in an attempt, pretty much instantaneously, so I don't think it's going to be too brilliant, I've attempted to sort of just distill a couple of words from each story, around values almost. And what's come out a couple of times, and it was one of the first stories, was the value of what I call individual encounter. You can have structures to try and get things organised in a parish and come to a meeting and all that. Doesn't work for everybody, does it? But just talking to individuals, what is it that they, possibly even unknown to themselves, can offer the parish, their skills. So it's about reaching out in that respect, the value of individual encounter. But also, how about the value of resilience on the part of those that want to get something going, that see an opportunity, see a need, to try and bring about or put into practice kingdom values in their parish, and then find that there are obstacles to doing it. The one story about helping refugees to have a sense of purpose and get involved in parish gardening life met with difficulties, shall we say diplomatically, with the existing parish gardening team, who came up with 15 reasons as to why they couldn't accommodate a few refugees to come along and help them. So the people who wanted to make this happen just did it anyway and turned up with them, and it went well from there, I gather. The value of, in inverted commas, political, close inverted commas, action. There's no great tradition in, I think, the church of getting involved politically. That's always been in another box, and in a secular box, if you like. There is the obvious exceptions to that on sort of, as it were, very Catholic issues, Catholic education, abortion, more recently, obviously, same-sex marriages, that sort of thing. But in the main, getting involved at a parish level, be it just signing a petition about, need for an instant example here, poor country debt, which is quite topical. So it's the value of political action in that sense can help externally to the parish move forward an issue. But within the parish, you can perhaps get them to see the needs beyond their boundaries in a wider way, whether that's very local or international, will vary depending on the issue. Related to a lot of these stories was people's comfort zones, and that in itself can often be a barrier. That can sometimes be generated by fear of change, fear of engagement with people that are, whose circumstances they may have no experience of their own about, and just perhaps not what to do. There could be all sorts of reasons. But that then brings back in a way to the first value of individual encounter, of listening to where people are themselves and what are their concerns. And I would add to that also, what are their skills? Everybody has something to offer, but sadly I think sometimes people I come across don't know they've got something to offer. And there's sometimes a confidence issue and think that, well, what can I do? I can't really change. Problems are too big and so on and so forth. The more people who don't do anything, the less likely the positive change that there will ever be positive change. So everybody is good at something.
That's good. Thank you. That one, someone in this group then?
I'm afraid, yes, I made a mistake of bringing a pen, and the rest is history. So, I've got my back to the people. So, I think we started off on an air of negativity, shall we say. It was all going fantastically. Then we got a new priest, and he was a wet blanket and basically killed everything off. And that is an issue. I think we're also conscious of the fact that priests do move on, and you're left with the either smoking rebel or the thriving parish or whatever you've got to carry it forward. And an example I gave was that after COVID, very much, I moved to Warwick 3 years ago, so I've got loads of experience of parish life elsewhere, and I've no idea what it was really like in Warwick before COVID. But the churches opened, and the problem in Warwick was that the church hall next to the church was not being used. It was a financial viability, and the solution to that was to sell it off and have some buildings. Now, I'm not entirely sure that a house that is in the curtilage of a listed building where Tolkien got married is likely to get planning permission. But the net effect of that was that 30 or 40 people ended up in the hall, and one individual was driving and thought, well, we can't lose this, we need this facility. And the result is something called Heart of Warwick, and I would encourage you to Google that when you get home. It doesn't mention the word church, it doesn't mention the word Catholic, it is there at the heart of Warwick, and it has filled its calendar with activities that people need. Coffee, a warm place to come. They have a walking group that goes wandering around the town and things like that. And that's very much in line with what we were talking about earlier on about the Good Neighbours Tamworth, which has moved from Good Neighbours to Coventry and Good Neighbours in Warwick. One of the things I should say about the people in Warwick is that they were, it's not Eco Church, lived simply awards, both the parishes, long before COVID. And they also raised funds to house a Syrian refugee family in the town. So, yeah, there are good things doing, but almost in spite of the church, I think that's a theme. Question was really, does a parish need to be vibrant? There's a little minority that seems to do everything. Wonderful phrase from Chris here, helicopter Catholics who just turn up for an hour and disappear. And I think that is the real life. You know, there's fewer masses, people are travelling further, so it's not obvious that you will have a community of people who know each other. I've been here 3 years, or there 3 years, and the people I know are my neighbours. I hardly know the parishioners, in spite of the fact I do the tote and I read and I count the money, but we don't really have that sort of conversation. There's only coffee once a month. What gift did you discover in yourselves? I think the answer really is determination and things. And again, from Chris was the lovely phrase that you can't fight on all fronts. You can just pull this up. I was at a talk yesterday, and I will send this round, but as a result of the conversations we were having, I pulled up a photo of one of the slides. It's a Venn diagram, 3 circles. The top one is, what brings you joy? So, what are the sources of satisfaction and delight? What are you good at? Your skills, resources, and networks. what work needs doing. And I think that's the essence of much of our increasingly positive conversations, that, oh, well, we don't know. What? I'm going to use negative there. Go out and find out. Talk to your MP, talk to your district councillors, go to the schools and talk to the school secretary. Anywhere you've got the GP, he will tell you what the problems are in the locality. And then you've got a shopping list and you pick one. Pick one that gets you out of bed in the morning. Pick one that you've got some skills and find a few people. You know, and don't assume it's virgin territory. We're not sort of the Antarctic going where nobody else has gone. Do look around and see what other churches, other faiths, other charities are doing, and why not just join them, rather than feeling you've got to reinvent the wheel yourself. Oh.
Thank you, Paul. Okay. Thanks very much. Who's going to? Well, not me. It's the first thing. Thank you, Miller.
Well, we had quite an interesting conversation and shared a lot of what's going on in people's areas, parishes or more general areas. But we did come back to this thing that you just said, actually, about we don't need to reinvent the wheel. And this is something that actually at Five Hudson's Caritas that we're really keen on.
Mm.
We want to support people with what they're doing and help them to build on what they're doing, not to say, oh, here's a good thing, do this. You know, have you got a good idea? Let's help it grow. And there was quite a lot of that about, I think, did you say something about the Methodist Church in Old Stansted, for example? So, you know, that's have your coffee morning there or have something there because it's more central. I think that's really very important. But it does seem to me to be a weakness, actually, in quite a lot of parishes I have known. That, well, you know, this is the parish and we need to do it for our parishioners. Father Ray said something really very profound. Practically everything he says in my experience, actually. But he said that in the parish, and from his point of view, the mass and the sacraments is the icing on the cake. It's not. It shouldn't be the main and only purpose. The community is the purpose. Now, that's not something I've ever heard another priest say. No, so find out what the community needs and minister to it. And yes, the other things will come. So I think we agreed on quite a lot of things, didn't we? And shared our desire to move forward with things.
Thanks, Nuala. Just prompted a thought. We've still got time. Cardinal is now Cardinal Timothy Radcliffe. Wrote a book called What's the Point of Being a Christian? And in there, he quotes from some first century church father or some commentary, or maybe, I can't remember what it was, but it comes from the first century, that the people were astonished at how these Christians love one another and how they love other people as well. So there's a question. Are people in your area where you live, are they astonished at how we in our own parish love each other? What's going on? Do we, you know, are we that sort of level there that people are astonished? It's a powerful word.
Yeah.
Just a thought. It's lunchtime now.
Sorry.
It's sorry. Okay, keep going. Go on.
Oh, you didn't got what I wanted to say.
Astonished.
Yes, lovely. Earlier on, one of you said that you couldn't get your colleagues of the person who died into church. So, yeah, I can empathise with that, but it is a legacy of not being allowed to go to the funeral of your non-Catholic father, and so particularly an Irish thing, possibly more so than, but the fact that we are welcoming comes as a shock to people.
Yeah.
And I think they've actually got to get out there to churches together and places like that and show that Catholics are Christians. It's not axiomatic that people understand that. So yeah, you just got to go for it.
Could I just ask a quick here on what you said there? Does anybody know any parishes which do astonish?
Yes, I do. I do. You go to Bristol and the name of it will occur to me.
Let's go on.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. The place where the asylum seekers are detained is opposite the Catholic Church. If anybody goes to the police station to report, a parishioner goes with them, and if anything's going pear-shaped, they communicate. Mass stopped, the whole congregation, priest in vestments, is outside, hymn singing, so that the person knows that we're looking after you. And the guy was pulled off the plane as he was going up the steps, and they then supported him through 3 years of university education. You can do it.
Okay, thanks. It is lunchtime. The next session begins at 11:15